Hello my fellow furniture friends, welcome to my channel Forever Spring Furniture and welcome to another video. This time a very short introduction. I will show you the process of making over these two nightstands I got on the second-hand furniture market, and without further ado we hop into the video. Enjoy! Here are these two cute nightstands in their original state. The overall condition is good. I mean, you have the normal wear and tear you see in old furniture pieces, but we don't have too many deep scratches. The old finish is very worn, as you can see it. Then there is this little gap here on the side because the wood was just working, and it separated here, but it's not really bad. The hardware is still very good, just needs a good clean, and then of course adapting to the design of the piece. Otherwise there is nothing wrong with the drawers, and here of course on the tops of the nightstands you have a watermark, and the other one, which we will have a look right now, there is a little crack, but that is actually already the major complaint I can have about these pieces. The rest is a wonderful basis to work with. In a first step, I will glue down this little crack here. So I try to get rid of all the dirt that is in this little crack, and then add some glue, use the thread to bring the glue into the crack, to not just have it superficially, but like really work it in, and then clamp it down, let it dry, and the rest will be smoothed out by sanding the piece down. While the glue dried, I removed the hardware, and then I gave the two pieces a first clean because they were quite dusty, and on the bottoms were some cobwebs that needed to be removed before I started to sand. This is an all wood piece and an all wood top, so no veneer, and I could go in with a quite rough sanding paper. I used an 80 grit sanding paper for the first round to really quickly get rid of the old varnish, and then I smoothed it out first with a 120 and then with a 180 grit sanding paper. In some spot the grayish brownish discoloration was quite stubborn, so it took me a while to cut and eat through it with the sanding paper. And here in this scene you can nicely see the watermark. Yes, I quite spend a lot of time as well to really sand through and to get a nice and smooth clean surface. The idea for the piece is to have a wooden look table atop and color the rest of the piece. So enough sanding, time to clean and to get rid of all the grime and all the sanding dust. The dirty work is done back in my workroom, and that's where we stand at the moment. The pieces are cleaned, the tops are sanded, and we are ready to start with the paint. My first coat is almost always a blocking primer to prevent bleed through when I come in with the actual color. So all the areas where I'm going to use paint on will have a coat of blocking primer first. The primer has dried, and I go quickly over with a 240 sanding paper to knock down all little bumps before I apply the first layer of paint. And here we go. That's the color I chose. It's a darker olive tone, I would say, and this color really brings me out, or brought me out of my comfort zone. I just had this picture in my mind of the two pieces with in that darker olive khaki-ish tone with some gold applications. So I purchased that color, but until that moment I was not confident that it was the right choice. I mean, look at it. It looks actually like overcooked peas. After the first layer of paint, I definitely did not like the outcome. And that's why I added quite a bit of black to mute it down and to go more into the khaki area and leave the more yellowish olive tone behind. And that was much, much better then. I used a water-based acrylic paint this time, and it took me 4 layers to achieve full coverage. But in the end, I don't have to apply a clear coat to protect the paint, so it sums up to the same amount of layers which I have when working with chalk paint. So far so good. As I said, I wanted to have some golden accents on the piece and decided to go for some golden birds on the top. Therefore, I made my own stencil. I first cut the shapes out, placed them on the top to see how to arrange them and how it looks like, and then I cut out the shapes of the birds from some sticky paper. But before adding the golden details on the top, I used a walnut stain because, in my opinion, the contrast between the raw wood optic of the top and the painted body was a bit too harsh. I applied 2 layers of the stain. The first layer really thin, and then I sanded in between the coats with a 240 grit sanding paper, and then the second layer of the stain is a bit thicker. In addition to the tops of the nightstands, I kept the raw wood on the high points of the drawers as well, and of course I will have to stain them. Now time for a bit of gold. As I said, I cut out the shapes of the birds from the sticky paper, and after I smoothed out the surface of the nightstands again with a 240 grit sanding paper, I stuck it on. And here I apply some gilding adhesive because the golden accents are supposed to be made from gold leaves. After I removed the sticky paper, the actual gold leaving process started. Here I brushed the excess gold leaf away to reveal the shapes. Yes, and I can tell you at that point now, it looked nice. It was nice, but it wasn't nice enough and good looking enough for what I imagined. So I finished both tops and then decided, nope, that is not what I want. And then I just sanded it all down again. I restained the surface and kept it in the walnut look. And yeah, decided to go for a bit of gold detail on the sides of the piece. And that was design idea number 2. I opted for the head of a stack and basically did exactly the same. So I first made a template, adjusted the size, and then I cut it out from the sticky paper to create my own stencil, stuck the sticky paper on and applied the gilding adhesive, the gold leaves, brushed the excess away, and revealed the pattern, revealed the design and evaluated if I like it this time or not. And after some minor corrections, that's the result. And it was this time to my liking. I was ready to go with that design. So in the last step, I just protected the gold leaves by applying 2 layers of clear coat on top of it. What now still remains to be done is adapting the hardware to the overall design of the piece. I thoroughly scrubbed them down with a bit of scrubby soap to remove all the dirt and the loose old lacquer, and then I gold leafed the hardware as well. After I washed them and scrubbed them down a second time and washed them, you can see how dirty the water is. And I mean, it's only 2 pieces of hardware, so it was definitely necessary to thoroughly clean them. Here comes the gilding adhesive and the gold leaves. The hardware too needs to be protected, or the gold leaves on the hardware. That's why I applied 2 layers of clear coat here as well. And finally, it's time to mount the hardware again and put the drawers in. Welcome back. It's the end of the video, and as you could see, I took some detours to reach my goal, but I made it in the end, and that's the outcome. So I'm totally satisfied with it. I'm happy that it turned out the way I had in mind, and I hope you as well enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment or subscribe. There will be more videos coming, and that's it for now. See you soon. Bye bye and bis bald.